You don't have to go downstairs. All right. So, all right, we are live. Today we got a sub-to deal, which means that you are taking over the existing loans subject to the existing financing. This is good entry fee, 10% entry fee, 4.6% interest rate, 205 Jackson Heights Road, Columbia, Tennessee, 38401. So this is a sub-to deal. Let's see, 29,500 for the arrears, $383,026.78 for the sub-to loan, 4.625%. Okay. PITI 2332.68 with a loan mature 9-1, exit strategy 2200, wrap at 2400, assuming 10,000. Okay, I see how they're marking this. All right, let's go through the details. So, whenever I see a 3-bed, 2-bath with over 1,500 square feet, even though I see that the long-term rent is 2,200, I always just try to figure out, like, hey, usually 1,500 square feet, you could probably squeeze an extra bedroom in there, or if there's a garage, there might be a way to be creative and turn this a deal that might not have been a deal into a deal. So let's go ahead and take a quick look first. Okay. So when I look at this property, let's take a quick look at it. There are no garages, so there's not going to be an easy conversion here. Now, let's see. There is put this over here. There is this room, this living room that you can convert into a bedroom. Okay. Kitchen right here has the egress. Could I get creative? 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. Oh, look, this is little nook here that looks like a offshoot room to the kitchen. So maybe you could get a 4-bedroom in here. This is the room I'm talking about. This room right here. Don't know what that is. What looks like a study or whatever. So that's where you can get creative, right? And they also have a detached garage there. It's annoying. Wish it would just attach. That'll make life a lot easier. All right. So let's go find out what the fair market rents is for this property. So this is in Maury County. So when you Google HUD FMR, you click on the first link. You go down to access a small area FMR. What do all those terms mean? Could you be a little bit more specific about your question? I probably said a lot of things, so just let me know which term you were not familiar with. Okay. FMR stands for fair market rents. And right now we're going to HUD's website, and what we're trying to do is we are trying to get the rent ceiling, which is what you're able to charge for rents inclusive of utilities. And we do that by going to HUD's website, and we're going to Maury County. When you go to Maury County, you're going to get all the rent ceilings by bedroom count by zip code. And this zip code is 38401. And you can see here that the 3-bedroom rent ceiling is $1,590. And then the 4-bedroom rent ceiling is $1,960. Okay, let's write this down. $1,590 and $1,960. The reason I write these down is because my partners already know how I analyze deals. So this way, I do all the data gathering for them since I'm already looking at the deal anyways. So I want to get a 3-bed and a 4-bed because I saw maybe there's a way to creatively get an additional bedroom. But let's pause there. Let's try to get the market rent. So this is the ceiling, right? Usually these are inclusive utilities. On a deal, not unsure of the terms and creative finance agreement. So let me pause there, okay? So sub-to, subject to means that you are taking over the payments on the underlying loan. Normally in your everyday transaction, you are buying, whenever you're buying a home, you're taking a loan out to pay off, to give to the seller, and the seller is going to use the loan that you just got to pay off the existing loan that he or she might have borrowed to buy that home, right? So you can clear out the balance. But who makes money in that situation? Really just the banks, because you're taking a loan out to go pay off another loan, and you're taking a more expensive loan. Now, typically in situations where people do sell it on subject to, typically there's a little bit of pain, and usually it's because the price that they're looking to sell the property for does not support the current market rate for interest rates, which is probably around 7.5, 8, 8.5% out there. So this interest rate is nearly half of what's out there currently being offered on the market, which is why a subject to transaction is more attractive to a buyer, right? You might give them the price that they're looking for, the seller's looking for, if you can get the terms that you're looking for. And a deal that might not have been a deal for you because the interest were 6, 7, 8% might be a deal for you because the interest rate in this deal is 4.625%. And you would just be taking over the existing loan on the underlying property. The underlying mortgage on the property. Make sure I don't get my words twisted there. So now that you have the terms that's being offered, you want to see whether or not you're going to make money on this deal. So first we got the rent ceiling. And the second thing you want to do is you want to get the market rent. In order to get the market rent, you can go to affordablehousing.com, go to the owner section, go to the market rent estimator, and plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count. So the number you care most about here is this number on the bottom right. It says right here that for 25 units, your average rent for those 25 units within less than a 1 mile radius is $18.79. Okay, $18.79. Let's write that one down. $18.79. That's a 1 mile radius. I'll plug in these numbers here too, so my partners know how does it compare to everything else. 1787. And then because I was trying to figure out whether or not I can turn this into a 4-bedroom and see where I can get a higher rent, I'm going to put in the rent for a 3-bedroom and the rent for a 4-bedroom. And you can see that there's a pretty good jump that for 4 bedrooms with 24 units within a 2.73 mile radius, that is now a $22.50 rent. So $22.49, $22.95, $22.32, and then $22.32 again. And that was within a 2.7 mile radius. Okay. Now that I have all these rents, guess what? I cannot charge more rent than what the ceiling determines. So even if I underwrite this deal at $15.90, so let's go ahead and plug in all these numbers now onto the spreadsheet. Just DM me on Instagram, your email. If you do want a copy of the spreadsheet, I've been given the spreadsheet by the folks. So this has helped me tremendously. I just kind of modified it and tweaked it to meet my own underwriting standards. So this property, where do they list the purchase price? They do not. So I'm just going to put in the loan balance here. So equals 383,026.78 plus the entry fee of 29,500. So 29,500 includes arrears and assignments. So 20,900 includes assignment. So I'll delete that to be 0. I got 2% for my closing costs. For renovations, this probably looks relatively turnkey. Floors look okay. Everything looks okay. So I might just put in some money to paint the place. So I'll put $3 a square foot. At $3 a square foot to paint a 1,600 square feet home. I'll still replace the 2 toilets with high pressure flush toilets. 1,600 square feet. Looks pretty clean. So I'm going to leave $500 for landscaping, but I'm assuming there's no issues with the roof because it seems like it's a relatively new home. So that leaves me with about $7,000 rehab on this property. For the rent, I'm doing $15.90 because that is the lower of the two, right? The lower of the fair market rent, FMR, of $15.90 compared to the market rent of $18.79. Okay. Now I'm going to plug in the existing loan details there, right? So I'm going to put this over here so you guys can kind of quickly see how I plug in the numbers based on what you see on the spreadsheet. For those of you that want to watch the full screen, just go to youtube.com/@Kent_HE. So 383,026.78. Interest rate is 4.625%. The start date for this loan, because it matures on 9/1/2052, I'm assuming it started 30 years ago from that date. So 9/1/22. There's no secondary loan, so I'm going to zero that out. So the most important number here is 2332.68. That's what's been disclosed. So I'm going to go to this property tax number, and I'm going to back into what my total amount is for this deal. So at 2332.68, that's my total number. I'm going to back out the principal amount. Whoops. I'm going to back out this number, which is the principal portion of the sub-2 loan. And then I'm going to back out the interest portion of the sub-2 loan. That gives me $363.39 that I will be spending on property taxes and also on insurance. Now, typically, I'm assuming that someone's living in this property as a primary residence. So usually the insurance rates or the premiums will go higher whenever you turn this into an investment property. So that's why I'm adding extra $30 here. So I have all the details I want, right? I'm setting aside 10% for maintenance every single month because that money doesn't belong to you. You got to fix a roof eventually. You got to replace the HVAC. You got to replace the water heater. Something will break along the way. So you got to set aside that money every single month because that money, in my opinion, does not belong to you. I got 8% for property management, which is probably the most favorable rates you got. I got 5% for vacancy. And so if you assume that you were only getting $1,590 for rent on a 3-bedroom, you would be losing $1,138.38 a month. And that's a negative 30% cash on cash return. Now, even if you turn this into a market rate, which is $1,880, right? $1,880 is market rate, not falling to Section 8 rents. $1,880, you're still losing 9 to 15. That's what I want to highlight for you, negative 24%. Now, if you turn this into a 4-bedroom, but you still rent in Section 8 at $1,960, again, I'm not even back on utilities, you would still, as 4-bedroom, $1,960, you would still be losing $853 a month, and that's a negative 22.7% return. Now, as a 4-bedroom, if you turn this into a market rate at $2,250, let's show you how this works. At $2,250, you would still be losing negative $630. So that's how we just went through all the different scenarios of what can possibly happen. And this is how you generally go through as you think about, hey, is this a deal? And is this worth my time to investigate further into this deal when it might not be? So this is a very good practice and scenario that you want to go through because you want to go through a few different scenarios. Like, okay, everybody's looking at this as a 3-bedroom only for market rent. And this person tried to market it as $2,200 a month. Well, I'm seeing only 1880, so I'm not sure where this person is getting 2,200 unless this house is really brand new compared to everything and you're super above average. And even in that scenario, you'll still be losing money, right? Because we just underwrote the deal at 2,250 and we'll still be losing $630. That's how I know it's not worth my time as a long-term rental. Now, that doesn't mean you can't turn this into a midterm rental and rent it out to travel nurses or corporate rentals, etc. Or you can't Airbnb it. There's a lot of different options, and you can learn how to underwrite all of them very differently. I got a video on my YouTube channel that talks about how to analyze short-term rentals if you're really into it. I got Tanisha Epps. She has a YouTube channel on midterm rentals. If you want to learn how to underwrite, I would check out her YouTube channel. So all these different items are very important because it depends on your exit strategy. And the number one habit that I want all of us to do is like just get in the habit of analyzing the deal every single day. But if you look at this, you can also start developing your own instincts on when something is not a deal. When I looked at this PITI of 2332 and I saw that this was a long-term rental of 2,200, I was like, okay, that's probably not a deal. But because this is a 3-bed, 2-bath, let me at least look up the rent for a 4-bedroom because I know there's enough square footage there. When I looked at the market rent for a 4-bedroom here and I saw it was $2,250, I still knew because $2,250 is right below the 2332 number. I could have ruled out the deal right then and there. I could have stopped analyzing just like there. But today I walked it out so that you guys can see why I would have ruled out the deal. And this is where the rubber meets the road. It's like, yeah, wait a minute. Should I only be losing maybe $100 a month? No, it's not true because once you put in property management, you put in vacancy because someone's going to move out eventually. And you got to turn the unit over and you set aside some money for maintenance. Now all of a sudden you're losing $630 a month, right? So that is very, very important for you to understand whether or not this is a deal that you should pursue. And if it's not a deal you pursue, then you stop, you cut it short, and you avoid burnout. Because why do we burn out? We burn out because we spend all this time analyzing deals, or we spend all this time doing all this work for no results. And that's how we burn out. And that's what I'm really helping people avoid. If you can just avoid burning out and you just outlast everybody else before they quit or after they quit, that's really your goal. Your goal is to build consistent habits every single day. And analyzing a deal is so important because If a deal came across the table and slaps you across the face, would you recognize that's a deal? I certainly hope so. And if a partner ever asks you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? Well, you can tell them to go to your own YouTube channel and show them. Yesterday, it was really great. I went to a local meetup here in San Diego and met a young gentleman. He said, hey, I don't really have a track record. I was like, well, you know how you can build a track record? You can analyze the deal every single day. And guess what? Most successful people that want to trust you and invest with you. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments. They want to see that you are consistent and you do what you say you're going to do. Or do you make excuses? That says a lot about your character. So that's why we do this. That's why we get better every single day. That's why we analyze deals together every single day. And again, I'm so grateful for all of you for being part of the affordable housing investment community. Without people like you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So thank you so much. I'm truly, truly grateful. The outpouring of support over the last couple of weeks and the people that have come into our lives and my family's life, for that, I'm just so grateful. I feel so blessed. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 229. I know I mislabeled the day today, but I'll be back here tomorrow for 229. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow.